Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I just wanted to do a quick video today about spring cold fronts. Cold fronts during the summertime and stuff doesn't affect the fish too much, but during the spring, like it is now, the water temperatures in the mid 40s. In most of the lakes, it's in the mid 40s. And these warm days like we've been having will start to warm that water temperature up. But then then you get a cold front, especially one like we had a couple of weeks ago, where the temperature was down below zero and the highs was in the teens for a couple 3 days, and then just barely broke freezing for highs for a few days, and lows down in the teens and single digits. Well, that'll put a stop to the fish bite. The thing to remember is, after a cold front, you got the high bluebird skies, which is high pressure, but that also means that you're getting sunshine again, and the sunshine penetrating the water will help heat up rocks and wood structure and riprap and that kind of thing, and the big rock and riprap, and also bridge pilings. If you've got a bridge that's getting some good sunshine for several hours, that concrete on those bridge pilings will also heat up, and bridge pilings is also a great place to find fish. But anyway, back to what I was saying about the cold front. You can be whacking them right before the cold front hits. I've been out there before, water temperature in the mid 40s to upper 40s, and having a great day. And overnight, cold front comes through, the air temperature will be 20 or 30 degrees colder, and man, you can't even buy a bite where you was catching them the day before, and using the baits that you was using the day before. Those fish didn't move far, especially if you're fishing a bank that has deep water close by. If it's a ledge or a bluff or a point where it'll roll off into some deeper water, those fish is not gonna move far. And if they're up shallow and there's not any real deep water close by, you look for the thickest cover that you can find, and they will be tucked into that thick cover. Especially if you have some grass in the lake, a good thick lay down, they will tuck in that thing. And you have to have your pitching and casting skills honed in, so you can put it exactly where you need to, right up against the high percentage spots on those laydowns. Any intersection where a big limb meets another big limb, or where a big limb meets the trunk of the tree, just any good intersection in that laydown is a good place to pitch, especially if you don't have any deeper water nearby. If you got deeper water, move out and use your electronics and see if you can see any shad, and see the depth of those shad are, and that's probably the depth that your bass is going to be. But you're going to want to downsize your bait. You're not going to want to throw big big baits, you want to get a crankbait and work it erratically. You don't want to just throw a crankbait out there and reel it straight back in. You want to stop and go, twitch it, give it some action, and you can still get a reaction strike with a crankbait. You want to downsize your jig, pitch or throw a smaller jig and smaller trailer. Give them a smaller bait to come in. They'll bite the smaller baits before they will those big ones after a cold front. Get a tube. A lot of people overlooks tubes. I love to fish a tube. I've caught a lot of fish on a tube. I've won quite a bit of money on a tube. But get your tube out, and if they're not hitting the regular size, 3.5 to 3 3/4 tubes, or 3 inches, the medium sized tubes are not hitting those, go get you some of those 2-inch or 2.5-inch tubes, and I promise you'll get some bites on that little bitty tube. Drop shot's another one. Get you a drop shot. The sunrise, that sunrise color is a good one. Anything in the pink purple range, just whatever the bait companies call them, that color for their baits is always a great selection to try to get bites on a drop shot. Also, if the water is good and clear, get a bait that you can kind of see through. You don't want a solid color like a green pumpkin. You usually want to get like a watermelon or some kind of shad color where the bottom's kind of clear, and then you got like a silver or black or something top, where it looks like a shad. And another one is a Ned rig, the old Ned head. You can always catch a fish on the old Ned head. Throw that Ned out there and just slowly work it across the bottom. Bluff ends, points, off the edge of points. Just anything where those fish can go up and down and be comfortable in the water after that high pressure system has came through. So if you're fishing laydowns up shallow, still throw the small jig. Get you a 3 or 4 inch Senko type bait and Texas rig it, and pitch that into those laydowns. Throw a weedless Ned head in there. Get you a weedless Ned rig, throw that in there. Also, you can throw the 4-inch Senko and wacky rig it on a real light weight, or do it weightless just so it sinks real slow. I gotta move up in the pickup line here at the school. Anyway, back to the wacky rig. Just so it's going real slow, falling slow down in that treetop or weeds. Throw it in the weeds. And get to work, because they'll be in that thick cover and buried up in it, so that weedless Ned or the wacky rig can be your best friend in the weeds and the laydowns during during a cold front, they will come out and slaughter them right after a cold front. You just got to get it in there to where they're at. Cattails, they'll bury way back in the cattails. You can pitch back in the cattails. Also think about any lily pad stems. Sometimes there'll be some old lily pad stems. Another great place to look is shallow standing timber. Got a small lake near me that has a lot of standing timber in 10 foot or less. Now, a lot of it's broke off, so it's just under, you can see the tops of these broke off trees right under the water. And I've had some great days after a cold front out there pitching around those with Ned heads and Texas rig Senkos and wacky rigs. I've also had some good days throwing a 1.5 square bill around that standing timber as well. They'll hit that smaller square bill crankbait. So anyway, just remember, after a cold front, especially in the spring, that they're going to be turned off. Downsize your bait. Look for where the shad are. And if you're fishing shallow, get in that thicker cover and be precise with your pitches and cast. Get it back in there to where the intersections are in the weeds. There might be a little point in the weeds, might be a hole back in the weeds. Just get back in there where those fish is buried up in after that cold fronts came through. Especially in the weeds, because those weeds will hold heat, especially when the sun comes back out and starts warming the top of those weeds up. They'll be down in those weeds. But anyway, I hope this helps a little bit. Please hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons. And I hope you have a blessed weekend and get out and go wet a line. And I will see you guys out on the water.